Morning folks, it is Wednesday the 2nd of April 2025 and you're joining us here. We're just leaving the village of Ballachulish on the west coast of Scotland. We're here to climb 2 Munros today, the Verper Munros. Really looking forward to it. There's not a single cloud in the sky. The visibility is meant to be absolutely terrific. So we've just came up from the village itself. We're now on this wee track here. This is going to lead us up to the right onto the open hillside. So we shouldn't be too much longer. Just getting through the farmers' fields. Just in this boggy section here. It's pretty brutal and slow going, but it doesn't look like it'll last too much further. It looks like more drier ground the further up we get. It's absolutely scorching already. We're only about 20 minutes into the hike. The wind forecast says it's meant to be about 30 kilometres an hour at the top. But there's absolutely not a breath down here, so it's an absolute scorcher. We're just making our way up this edge here, up onto the ridge where the boulders are. That's where the Scramble starts. That's Schoolhouse Ridge up there. But look where we are, and the view is all the way back down to Loch Leven. It's absolutely stunning, all the way back to Glencoe. The visibility is unreal. Apologies for the wind, it's just picked up just of course as we're getting to the wee scrambly bit. Typical. So I'm gonna try and make my way up it. Next wee scramble section, we've got a clamber up here. Stick here. Here's where the real fun begins. We're gonna now scramble up this side of the rocky boulders here. So I don't know how much of it I'm going to be able to film. I'll try and get as much footage as possible, but I'm going to need both hands for this, so I'm going to be putting the tripod away. That's the first peak up there. We're just about to head down to it. We're just about to head down to the Beinn and scar up to the summit. We thought it was the first peak, but we got duped. Views back to Glencoe. all the way south again. And you've got out here, you can see the Isle of Lismore, Isle of Kerra where we were camping a couple of weeks ago. We've got over there, you've got in the distance Beinn and the Isle of Mull. So bring you around this way. In the background you've got, that's Beinn I believe. And in the foreground that's another Corbett. Lots of Corbett's over there in Ardnamurchan. You might be thinking now, why am I the only one left? You know, we're dropping like flies, definitely like this at the first fall summit, and Charles and Dom just left me there at the first summit. They've went back with Declan to get down. There you go, up there's the first peak. I managed to get down there in about 5 minutes. I've just run down and now we're at the Beinn. I'm about to head up to the second peak up there. That's the Glen. If you want to head down the Glenway, that takes you back down to the 82, and then you walk along to Ballachulish. But what I think I'm going to do is just head back up and over, keep the height, stay in the sun, and meet them back at the first fall summit, which we made it to. Pretty steep drop over the right hand side, just making our way up this path here. We're just below the summit. The views over to the west, back to where we came. Steep drop. Well folks, that's me at the top of the second Munro now. I've just made it up after scrambling up the final little section, and we're getting these absolutely gorgeous views out to the west. Pan down that way out of Loch Lunny. All the way out to the Atlantic. Beinn in the distance, on the Isle of Mull. Isle of Lismore in the middle. Isle of Kerra over to the left hand side. It's phenomenal. Back round to Cruachan, which is the peaky one. And there's so many mountains to pick out and name over there. Looking back down south. That's over to the true summit there, where the cairn is. And we're panning over this way and we've got Ben Nevis, the Munros. What a spot. I'm absolutely chuffed to bits. I'm glad I came along. It's only taken me about 25 minutes to get from that summit, the first summit, to this summit now. So I'm going to get a bite of water. I'm going to put some sun cream on because I can feel the sun starting to increase in strength. And get a bit of water, and then we'll head back down and meet the boys at the subsidiary peak, which we finished Schoolhouse big on. It's unbelievably peaceful up here, like genuinely there's not a breath of wind now. I don't know what's happened. The forecast was meant to be about 30 mile an hour plus, and we were getting blowing a bit when we were on Schoolhouse Ridge, but now absolutely nothing. It's gorgeous. I've just got creamed up now. I've just been on the phone to Charles. He says that they are at the subsidiary peak now with Declan, so I'm going to just get some water now and we'll head back down. That's me just came back down from the summit and I've turned around and it reminds me very much of Staban. I don't know if any of you have watched my winter video climbing Staban with Charles, but we've got a couple of shots and that looks exactly like Staban looks. Point it out, it's just over there, just in front of Ben Nevis. I'll put an arrow to it right now. But what a winter's day that was. That was similar to this. been about maybe an hour since I've last pulled you out. We've just been coming down these slopes here. It's been just moorland and path like this. Not too bad. The pole's been an absolute lifesaver though. But we're gradually just making our way down to the village here. And it is steep, but the views are just keeping you going. You can see all the way through Glencoe now. It's absolutely stunning. It's been another while since I've last brought you back. My GoPro is covered in mud. I am also covered in mud. I slipped and fell in the bog, which we've now found ourselves in this pretty pathless terrain, unfortunately, coming down this other ridge. We know we're meant to be down there near where that old barn is, but to get there it's going to be a lot of bushwhacking. So put the camera away and get the head down and hopefully get out of this bog without covering my hand and backside in more mud. As us just joined back to the road, we've just passed the school, which is what Schoolhouse Ridge is named after, and we're heading back now down to the car, which is parked at the other end of Ballyhullish. So yeah, an absolutely terrific day. My watch says right now that we've walked about 15 kilometres and it's going to take us about 7 hours and 58 minutes, so fairly decent sized day, a good summer's day. 2 peaks, 2 Munros. I climbed one of them twice. And look at this. It's so picturesque, especially when the sun's out. This time of year, the daffodils on the verges. So as I say folks, hope you enjoyed this one. I certainly did, everyone else did. It was an absolute cracking adventure. Make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, happy climbs to Beinn, folks. See you later.